All right, good evening, everybody. Doc Severson
Yes.
with you here. We got Mav,
Hello.
ReadySetCrypto. We're doing a little Ready Set Live. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you out there.
How's everybody doing?
I hope you guys got a chance to catch up Mav's class today. If you did not, it is under our YouTube channel.
It was I think I needed to sleep more, but it's kind of low energy by the end, but I appreciate you guys sticking with me on that one. It was
Were you a low energy guy?
Maybe.
Let's make crypto great again.
Oh no. Yeah, but no, it was fun. We talked about STOs, and yeah, I think it's going to be a big trend in 2019. So this is a new thing for me. Doing 2 streams in one day is a little much. I don't know if some people expected to see my ugly mug twice in one day.
Hey, guess what else we got twice? We've got a new bear market in the equities market. Well, and you know, look, we're very the U.S. equity market is the biggest one in the world, and when it has a cold, everybody feels it. So it's funny because the equity markets, if you have a 1% day in the equity markets, everybody's freaking out. And right now we're down about 15.5% on the S&P 500 off of the highs just back in October. So that represents a huge chunk of wealth. That's trillions of dollars which has disappeared or has gone into somebody's pocket. So what we think is interesting also, I mean, you guys are welcome to ask questions about the equities market because I do trade them. But we're not seeing really any correlation to crypto, which is good.
Yeah.
So all of those margin calls have already been taken care of, and crypto is kind of free on its own. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not crypto does pick up a bid here with money flowing out of the equities markets. And, you know, do you really want to go into bonds? I mean, seriously? So there's, this may be an opportunity for crypto. So we'll see. I think there's a lot of base building and it's got to do first before it goes anywhere. But this could be, this could restore a bid underneath it.
Yeah, I think I read.
Nick's saying you need an In-N-Out burger.
I do.
Do you remember meeting Nick in Phoenix?
Oh, maybe.
I'm sure you met him because he was one of the guys that was surrounding you. Anyway.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, he's well. Anyway, hey Nick.
Gotta jog my memory with the In-N-Out burger.
Yeah. So Brony is saying the Fed is crazy. It wants to kill the economy. I probably need to temper my comments on the Fed because they were not fit for human consumption today. I could not believe that Jerome Powell and the rest of the Fed body is so what is the word? Did you guys ever see the Shawshank Redemption, the movie The Shawshank Redemption?
Is he obtuse?
Yeah, when he asked the warden, he's like, how can he be so obtuse? You know, and I'm like, what? You know, and that's my question for Jerome Powell. How can you be so blind? How can you turn such a deaf ear to what's going on in the markets right now? I mean, the rest of the world is slowing down, and he wants to put he wants to keep raising rates. So it's incredible that they were so tone deaf as to raise rates. So again, this is why, and the market put on a hissy fit today. It's the 10-year note is dropping. So it's basically saying, up yours, Powell. We think the rates are going to drop from here. So anyway, that's probably not something I want to get on, but yeah, F the Fed. There we go. That's my kind of guy. Yeah, I mean, the Fed created this monster years ago because it's like, well, hey, why don't we just debase the currency and print money, and then we'll give the wealth effect to people in the markets. And all it did was inflate those assets beyond people's ability to buy them. And so now we're seeing the normalization. Meanwhile, Powell wants to keep raising rates. Anyway, today's show is not about raising rates or anything like that. You guys just got me on a rant.
He's talking about the wheat stocks. I think I read something today, like literally every single weed crypto or whatever, pot crypto or whatever, like they were all scams. It's kind of interesting. It's like systemic, like across the board. So, yeah. I don't think I've ever talked about that stuff. That's kind of funny though.
Thank God I cashed out my weed stocks at the peak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So, ooh, BTC bottom. Ooh, oh man.
Well, everybody wants to know, is this the bottom in Bitcoin? But if you guys read if you guys listen to my podcast and it's on iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify, I believe it's either number 3 or number 5. And it's like it goes through the phases of a bear market. Bear markets go through the same phases every single time, and it's because it's driven by human behavior, human panic, the need for certainty, things like that. Eventually, what we're going to have is we'll have a capitulation event. I don't think we've had one yet. This does not look like capitulation to me. Capitulation is when everybody just says, all right, game over, man. Game over.
I don't know if you were paying attention, but we just got our asses kicked.
Yeah. What are we going to do now, man? It's like when everybody has a game over moment, that will be when capitulation is. That will be where everybody just looks at each other in despair and just says, well, this sucks. There's no future for this. And this is when people walk away. That's what capitulation is. We have not hit that yet. Everybody keeps buying the dip. As long as we keep buying this dip, it's going to just drag on and on and on. So we just have to, we got to rip the Band-Aid off. That's what has to happen. And then we'll go into base building. So what you're going to hear me yak about for the next 6 months is we're going to have volatility up and down, up and down. And it's going to be really frustrating to trade because you're going to think that it's lifting off and it's not going to lift off. You're going to think it's lifting off and it's not going to lift off. But there's going to be plenty of swings in the middle of that you can take. Meanwhile, some of the market will actually lift off. I'm waiting for some of those. Like if you look at Waves is a good example of an altcoin which is starting to lift off, but we're getting this sort of whack-a-mole syndrome that anything that sticks its head up is getting crushed back down again. When that stops, when we actually get some coins that lift off and they sustain and they keep the altitude, once they rotate off the ground, then we'll have something. This is when Bitcoin will probably follow some of those.
Good job on getting Bitcoin Cash there, Jason. I think that's up like 40% or something today. It was kind of ridiculous. Yeah, just be careful with that one. And then gold too, actually. I just read a really interesting article about how like gold is a bubble. It's intrinsically worthless. It's one of those things that like is predicated just on the faith of its ability to retain value, but like it's just a shiny rock. like like it doesn't oxidize. Great, cool.
There we go. RIP Bill Paxton. Yeah, awesome. 6K to 3K wasn't capitulation? No, it's not.
Neither was 20K to 6K. Like,
yeah, I mean that was kind of the initial capitulation move. There was a shock movement in early February that led to a long consolidation, and then we're getting the second move down. But this is, what I see a lot of investors do, and this was not only on the upside but also the downside. People say, well, it can't go higher than this. Can it? It can't go higher, so I'm going to short this. And then boom, they get their face ripped off. It can't go lower than this. This has to be the bottom. And then it keeps on going down. The one thing I will tell you guys is don't buy the dip. Don't buy into this whole dollar cost averaging thing. Because what goes low can go lower. Wait until it retraces and starts to head back up again. It's that simple. It's hard to do because it's going to require you to be patient with this, but you will see some coins start to make higher highs and higher lows. That will be the reversal for that. So we're catching some of these. Let's see. You want to hand? Simon's got a question. When moon? Should we answer that one?
I mean, it's like a full moon out right now.
Yeah, it is.
There's a really good question about like today. Is it a better investment to be putting your money towards crypto or the stock market? And obviously, got to temper it by saying we're not financial advisors. We're two dudes in a basement, like just making some videos. So take that for what it's worth. But I mean, like it really, I think it depends on your investment horizon. It depends on your investment strategy, and like your risk tolerance, really.
Well, I know people don't want to hear this, but cash is a position.
Yeah,
Cash is a position. Don't buy things that drop in price, because we found this out in the late 90s that, hey, look at this, tech stocks are on sale in 2000. And guess what happened over the next 2 years? It was a forest fire. It wasn't just a sale, it was a forest fire. So you burn everything down and see what survives after that. We're going through the same thing in crypto right now. So we don't know. The crypto market's going to look completely different in 2 years than it does now. Many of the names that we look at and revere and hold and put on a pedestal may not exist in the next 2 years.
Yeah, so I think it comes back to sort of your risk tolerance and like where you are as an investor, like life cycle and all that sort of stuff. And really just like sort of that like common rule you see of your stock bond allocation, your modern portfolio theory, like that is based on your age, and subtracting from 100 is what should be your amount of bonds. Or I think that's what it is. I don't know. I'm making this stuff up.
I want to show you guys what we went through. I want to show you guys what we went through, and we've already been through this before, right? We've already played this. This was 2014. Here's 2015 coming along. We've already lived through this story before. And for those that were buying the dip all the way down there, all of a sudden your cost basis is pretty damn high by the time it gets down. Now, if you have patience for that, eventually something where your dollar cost average was at $500, sure, by the time it gets up to 20,000, you don't care about that. But that puts undue stress on you. Wait until things start to head higher. Here's a good opportunity. It's starting to head higher here. Okay, if you buy in here, all right, you're underwater a little bit. If you buy into here, you're underwater a little bit, but eventually you start to see this is the type of movement that we'll eventually see. And you're going to have to be patient before you do that. So I'm just not a big proponent of buying the dip. There is no medal that you get. There's no, they're not going to put a wreath around your head or something like that for getting the exact bottom tick of this market.
Participation Satoshi.
Yeah, there you go. So look, guys, 90% of your investing education to this point, unless you're hanging with us, 90% people come into the investing world getting education about trading and investing through Twitter, through TV commercials, right? Through Reddit subreddits and things like that.
Wall Street bets.
Yeah, this is where you're getting your education from. People saying, "Oh, you got to hodl. You got to hodl." Well, look, that's fine, but that doesn't work for everybody. It's one thing to say hodl if you bought in at 10,000 and now it's sitting at 3,000, and you're like, "Well, what the hell am I doing?" So, or the other advice is to, well, just buy the dip, and that was everybody's advice when it was at 6,000. And now you're at 3,000. All of a sudden your money's worth half of what it was. So wait until things start to lift off. Keep an eye on the altcoins that are starting to lift off the bottom, because they're having these stealth rallies and nobody's paying attention to them.
Yep. But make sure you're staying away from shitcoins. I think.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying.
Yeah, Chainlink is another one that's actually been doing pretty well.
Understand though that Chainlink's success is predicated on like the notion that Ethereum is going to be successful, which that's hopefully a good bet. But yeah, oracles depend on the success of smart contracts. So just bear that in mind. But yeah, I think they've been killing it recently.
Well, long range crypto is like, so are you guys 100% USD or USD? And it's like, well, you know, quite honestly, what I'm doing in this market is I'm doing a lot of short-term trading, a lot of short-term trading. So it's like, you know, if you're basically flat at the end of the day, then you don't worry about where this is going. Now, eventually what I want to be able to do is to do the buy and hold. Buy and hold is by far the easiest and the most profitable style of trading that exists out there. But you've got to have a market that supports it. You can't trade the market that you want, only the one that you have. Right now, this is not a buy and hold market. This is a trader's market. So everything that we do is going to be around what the opportunities are there today.
There's a lot of good questions, guys. Hopefully this is good entertainment. We're having fun. I'm having fun. It's a Wednesday evening. Yeah.
What's else? You know, it's funny because people say, "Hey, what do you think about this coin?" You know, and they'll throw out a coin or something like that. And this is where I'm a little different, because I really don't care what a particular project does, with very few exceptions. There are a couple of business case coins that we follow because we believe that they have the ability to disrupt an entire industry. You know, like Digitex would be one example of that.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. You knew it was going to come out at some point.
Check.
Yeah, got the Digitex check out. Okay. But you know, quite honestly, most of the coins I really don't care. I don't care. I'm not going to read the white paper. Show me the chart and I'll tell you everything that you need to know about what's going on with the supply and demand of that. So, I mean, I take a very pragmatic approach towards this stuff.
And I mean, that's sort of my response too. I look at it from a fundamentals perspective. I don't really look too much at charts, but you know, for me, the big question is solvency, and you know, being adopted. Someone was making a point earlier about how a lot of these coins in the top 100 need to go the way of BitConnect. That's pretty true, and we're gonna see it. You know? I think of the top 100, maybe 35 have working products at this point. Maybe 5 of the network type applications have daily active users, more than just, you know, a handful. So yeah, I think there needs to be a huge reckoning, a huge filter, if you will, of a lot of these coins out there, because yeah, a lot of these just garbage projects are just sucking wind from the ecosystem, and we need to focus on the coins and tokens that have staying power. So we're definitely going to see that over the next couple of years. That's where last year was all about the hype cycle of just getting excited about like the start of a project. Now we need to transition from that speculative value into utility value. Now we need to see that the infrastructure is being built, that things are working, that deadlines are being met. Otherwise, that project doesn't interest me. They can make all the claims that they want, but if they're not producing something, I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. So, yeah.
Guys, this is what's going on with the altcoin market, is that you'll start to see something trend up like this, and all of a sudden it calls attention to itself. And then you guys have played that game whack-a-mole at the fairs, right? You just sit there and, you know, you got this big mallet and and this is exactly what happens. Every altcoin that sticks its head up, that dares to start rallying, everybody's just going to fade the living crap out of it. And so we've seen this again and again. Now, when this stops happening, like Factum stuck its head up, and all of a sudden, how dare you rally? It gets nailed back down again. So this is the only thing that we're getting. We're getting a little bit of a pop, and this is not pump and dump either. This is actual supply and demand imbalance. When you have something like this, a pump and dump is typically one candle followed by another, right back down again. So some of these are actually getting some traction here, but they're not getting any kind of altitude. It's almost like they're coming down the runway, they get a little bit off the ground, and then boom, right back down again. So when markets start to lift off, this is when we will actually get, right now, you've got opportunity just to trade within that swing, and then that's it. Otherwise, this is the nature of a bear market, is everything's going to get sucked back down again.
Obliteration.
Multiple streams. Yeah, we believe in multiple streams. There we go.
Just don't cross them.
Somebody made $350 off of Dogecoin. Awesome. Poor Factum. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I think CryptoPlace will be the next ICO like push. I don't know if I believe. I think ICOs are really done. We'll continue to see ICOs, but they're never coming back like they were in 2017. They're just, people have lost their appetite for them, because even if you can trade them, you know, there's just been so many scams and outright frauds, and like so many, like what was the statistic? Like over half of ICOs completely fail within 4 months of like, you know, receiving the funds. Like that's insane. And yeah, so many of them don't even make it to exchanges, so you can't even trade the tokens that you received in the ICO. So yeah, like I think they've gotten a bad rap, and I think that's why I'm so incessant on talking about STOs, because it's a better market. It's more compliant, and the best part is it's not tied to BTC. It's you don't have assets, you don't have equity that is tied to one centralized entity that is one reserve currency that's just going to drive the market up and down, regardless of the benefits or the you know, positive aspects of what you're trading. So yeah, I think I'm a little bit tired of that.
Here's the example of what I'm talking about here. So somebody in the chat room is saying, "Hey, what do you think about VeChain?" I pull up the chart. That's what I think about VeChain. What do you think? No, I'm not, and I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm not trying to be dismissive here. This is what I think of it. I pull up the chart and I say, what is the trend here? If you were to put a marble up here on the chart, all right, so let's draw a marble up here. If you were to put a marble up here on the chart, which way would it roll? Would it go up or would it go down? Okay. It's pretty simple. So right now the chart is telling you everything that you need to know about any specific project, because everything that is known about this project, regardless of what the rumors or speculation, everything that's known about this project is priced into it right now to this second. Markets are very, very efficient. They will be more efficient down the road, but right now they're efficient enough to be able to trust that. I mean, could you get this at the bottom tick down here? Maybe you'll get that, you know, the crown or that medal. I don't know, but I want to wait for something. I want to wait for something to prove that it can actually sustain an uptrend before I want to invest in it. I mean, that's my thought on it. So if I can convert some people into reading price, that's what I'm going to try to do.
Someone's talking about all the Ripple fangirls. Guys, I made a video on Ripple yesterday, so if you want my thoughts on Ripple, just go watch that video. I'm trying to, the best I can, to stay as neutral as I can on it. There's really good aspects of Ripple. There are things that definitely need to be called into question, and like, you can't just see it as a black and white thing. Like you like, okay. Like,
oh, these guys, you guys are brutal now. You're ripping me on my marble etiquette. I apologize. Hey, you know, things work differently where we come from. So, let's see, what do we else we have here? Any we're gonna need to CPC chain, Ethereum. Obviously, you don't want to talk about XRP.
Look, I have no problem with it. Like, it's there. It's doing what it's doing. I think people like get really passionate about it, and that's cool. Like, I do like passion in the crypto space. I like people being passionate about what they're doing. Just like try to have like a measured conversation about it. That's why I made the video yesterday. It's actually really funny. I brought this up in a pinned comment that I made, but I deleted it. I submitted my video on Ripple, which again, I tried to make it like as neutral as possible, to the Ripple subreddit, and I got banned for 30 days. Like, they just don't.
See, that's what's crazy about this. There's no need for this religion in there. Oh, by the way, hey, Crypto Don Juan, little fist bump here. Oof, there we go. Crypto Don Juan, how we doing, buddy?
But yeah, I'm not hating on Ripple. I've talked enough about Ripple today. I did all the talking yesterday, so just go watch the video if you want to hear my thoughts. Okay. Yeah, so.
It's been a long day. We're getting a little punchy here. Okay, so let's see.
Trump is going to abolish the Fed.
Why is EOS still pumping? So let's take a look at EOS here. And then if it's worthy, I will bring up the chart.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so you guys call this pumping? Boom, there we go. This is still a downtrend, guys. This is still a primary downtrend. This is, you know, people see green candles in here and they're like, oh my God, you know, all they're looking at is this. And they're like, look at that huge uptrend. And it's, you know, look at it with the perspective of what's happening at the weekly chart, right? This is where I'm looking at here, is that this is just a counter trend consolidation move back up. This is still a primary downtrend. Wait until it starts throwing off higher highs and higher lows. This is not a pump. So, you know, I need to invite you guys to a trade school sometime where I talk about price action. I want to convert all of you guys into price action reading addicts. Is Waves pumping? Well, a little bit. Let's look at Waves. Let's look at Waves BTC.
Someone is calling out your TA.
They don't like my TA because of my marbles. Is it the marble? Have I lost my marbles? Now, this is an example of, if we look at this, this is Waves. This is what we're looking for, guys. Hello, this is what we're looking for. Here is a former downtrend, lower highs and lower lows, and all of a sudden now we have a higher high, okay? Now, you don't chase after this. You do not chase after this. You wait until you have a better entry into something like that. So what I would like to see with a healthy market is something where we get into like a bull flag like this. Range expansion, range contraction, take the breakout. Okay, so that is exactly what we want to look for. Now, hopefully Waves is not going to get whack-a-moled back down. Your TA is older than you. That's right, it is. Thank you very much, because I use Dow theory, which came from 1930. Excellent. We have some historians here.
We do.
See, I'm not
a scholar.
That doesn't bother me.
A scholar and a gentleman.
Somebody that's saying that I'm younger than something, that's actually a good thing.
Why did you call it signal? Oh my God.
Why didn't I call that signal? Because it's below. I don't care about this. I don't care about trying to catch the bottom. This is where you guys have got to let that go. Let go of your Twitter mentality on this, trying to catch the bottom. Don't do those kind of things. Like when I will not find something until it gets above the 200-day moving average. I don't want to play around in the gutter, right? Wait until something gets up off the ground and then starts to assert itself and then starts to run into an uptrend. Don't play down in the mud down here, guys. It's not worth it.
Picking up hot trash.
There we go.
Okay.
Don't get me fired up.
Oh, yeah.
My TA is younger than me.
Yeah. He's the one guy who gave you a downvote.
Oh, did we get a downvote? Yes! All right, fist bump. There we go. Fist bump. Fist bump for the downvote. Thank you. Let's see. What are our thoughts? We're going to have to wrap this up here pretty soon because we're getting goofy. What are my thoughts on Cardano? Well, you know, again, here we go. let's play the game again. ADA, BTC. What are my thoughts on Cardano? I don't know. What are your thoughts on Cardano? You look at a chart like this. What are my thoughts on this? It's like the market is telling me what to think. It's not what I think. I don't care. I don't have an opinion. My opinion does not count about what the market thinks of this. That's where you've got to let it go. Let go of the religion, guys. Become a price action addict. Look at this and say, what's the trend here? It's a weekly downtrend, okay? Maybe it might start to, rule number 2 of price action is reversal start from the inside out. So you can start to see this make higher highs and higher lows. Maybe then you can put a little bit of capital into it and stick your toe in the water and test it. But actually, look, this stuff is actually fairly simple. We make it difficult because we attach emotions to it. We attach religious fervor to our favorite coin because we think that's going to moon. Let the market tell you what to think, because ultimately that's the ultimate arbiter of value. Yes?
And honestly, guys, with Cardano, it's still a very speculative. I need to see more from them. I need to see more marketing. What's up?
ADA is Doc's favorite coin. His eye was twitching. Actually, there's a father out there with a 3-year-old kid that wants to hear you say brain on blockchain.
Okay. All right. They gotta be nice.
Well, you got to get some proximity effect here.
I can't do it when people are watching. This is your brain on blockchain.
So actually, Richard's got a great question here. So based on my experience, we should wait forever to get in. Okay, let's take the converse of that question. So do you want to get in right now and risk the trade going lower? Do you want to, what's more important to you? Do you want to get into a winning trade, or do you want to just, hey, I got to do something right now, God damn it. That's the way that we all think. We're all so impatient. We want to get on board something right now, and it's like, damn it, why doesn't this thing go up? I can't force anything to go up. I have to wait. It's almost like, you've seen those sharks swimming around with a remora on it. That's the image that I want you to have. We're just taking a ride, guys. Is the dog and the horse yours?
I wish.
Oh my. Yeah, we're getting silly here tonight.
Yeah.
Doc, were you trading during the 1929 crash? Hey, on that moment.
Yeah. So guys, I hope the takeaway from all of this that we're talking about today. So, we titled this video, we started this video talking about today's sort of, sell off in the markets, in the stock market, not in the crypto market, thankfully. We've had enough of that for the time being. But, what we're trying to impress upon you is stop being religious. Look for long-term opportunity. Look for stability in what you're investing in, because crypto is not the 2017 ICO market anymore. We've transitioned out of that. We are becoming something different, something more mature, something a little bit more commercialized, and I think you need to respect that. So going into 2019, I think this is a really good opportunity, just to sit down and holistically look at yourself and say, what can I do to improve? What can I do to seek opportunities in a different way? How can I be better? How can I be a better version of myself? So yeah, this is what we do. This is every day we look for opportunities to say, hey, maybe I didn't take that trade the right way, or maybe I need to think about my investments in a different way. And so yeah, we're absolutely the product of the effort that we put in. You don't just get better overnight, and you don't find these opportunities, or you don't do things in such a way that it doesn't just happen out of the blue. You need to put the work in. So yeah, everybody who's asking us just to give an opinion on a project, I think you're missing the point. I can tell you my opinion on it. Doc can show you a price chart on it, but ultimately it's your decision because you are the one who is considering it for investment or not. So yeah, like I hope that makes sense. For me, like what I'm looking at most is, again, I want to make sure that projects are going to be around by 2020. I want to make sure that a year from now, I'm not, worried that the projects that I'm investing in won't have staying power. They won't be solvent. So that is my priority going into 2019, is just making sure that, hey, they're respecting their roadmap. They're respecting the community. They're, communicative of like what they're doing and how they're doing it. Oh man, these comments are really coming in. Maybe I should stop rambling. But this is also why I'm so excited about the STO space. This is why I'm so excited about getting into an emerging market where things are defined by their ability to be stable and, very risk averse. And, like it's a transformative technology. It's going to help crypto because it's going to bring it into this age of maturity and, really get more eyeballs on the technology. It's going to open up a whole pool of global liquidity on private equity, something that really isn't there right now. So yeah, as I talked about earlier today in the yeah, we're getting good ones. And the stream we had earlier today, STOs are the big thing that's going to be happening in 2019. So that's why I put out a class about this, and that's why it's going to be an insider group of how do we look for opportunities in the STO space and how do we act upon them, and we're going to keep it very close knit and share information. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. It's discounted for the next week. You can get to it by going to ReadySetCrypto.com/STO. And yeah, like I'm really excited to offer it. It's the thing that like I've been working on it for a while now, and it's the thing I'm most excited about going into 2019. So yeah, absolutely check it out. But yeah, let's get back to questions because I'm sure you guys got a lot of them.
Yeah, let's we'll spend a couple more minutes here on questions. So
I'm not drunk. I'm very tired, but not drunk. Oh man, yeah.
Nice hat. It likes my hat. Hey, I got this from St. John's. There's a bar. It's called. Is it called? No, it's actually called. It's an island called Joost Van Dyke. So look it up. Joost Van Dyke is with a J, and there's a place called White Bay where they make the painkillers. So I'm about ready to go back there right now.
Crypto Moonboys has an interesting question. I don't know if Cardano will support STOs, but the question you're asking, I think, can be framed a different way to look at. I mean, if you want to look for the legitimacy of, what is the emerging STO market, look at how many projects are pivoting to support them or just be outright STO issuance platforms. Smartlands is one that like was totally not on the radar. I think I mentioned it back in like April or something like that, and it was just like an agriculture tracking platform or something. It was not very interesting, but they pivoted and now they're an STO platform. They're an issuance platform, and they trade STOs on an exchange on their platform, and like they've blown up. They are huge. Like they're 115, but they were like way in the 500s before. So like this is definitely where the market's going. So yeah, it was a good question. Let's see. Yeah, and Ontology just released their new token standard. Sorry.
If you guys want to know what to think about a coin, look at the price chart. That's really all there is to it. I'm we're trying to simplify this for you guys. It's, there's one thing that I do say, and people don't necessarily like to hear this because it's a little bit abrasive, but your need to know where the price is going to go tomorrow, the more you need to know where the price is going to go tomorrow, the further you are from profitability. And I say that because, people that need to know what the future is to know, hey, what do you think about this coin? Is this going to go up or down? That means that you're a long way away from being able to effectively trade this market. So what I want you guys to do, again, if you want to know what you think about a coin, look at the price chart first of all. Is it going up? Is it going down? What is the slope? Is the slope up or down? Forget about the marbles for a minute. what's going to happen to the exchanges?
It's actually funny you asked that. What's the one that Eric Voorhees? Eric Voorhees is like a big shapeshift or no, changely. I don't know, but he's like a big libertarian, and like he had to implement KYC AML on his exchange because he was forced to. So like yes, there is regulation coming to exchanges. It's going to be slow rolling probably, but yeah, it's definitely something we're going to see. So let's see. Ooh. Man, that same comment, it's been there like 50 times.
How far back should you go on the price chart?
That's a good question.
I would start on the weekly chart, find out what the weekly chart is doing. So all you got to do is, we can do something like Chainlink. Let's go to the weekly chart, and you can start to see, actually Chainlink is a great big mess right now. This is just a big consolidation. So we're getting a big weekly swing, but this is the type of coin that we're looking at, which has got a positive weekly trend so far. That's the sort of coin that we want to be looking at. Factum was in a downtrend and actually is starting to swing up. So this is the type of, now this is not necessarily all that healthy right now but its higher high is above the last high, which is good. So these are the type of coins that I want to be looking at. So this is what we use the screener for. The screener will tell us what's actually moving. So I don't attach any importance to any particular ticker these days.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite shit?
What's your favorite shit? All of them. All of them, yeah. Okay. All right, guys. We probably should, we have slightly different attitudes on stuff like that, which is all right. I think that's good. What you need to do is, you guys out there, what you need to find is you need to find a voice. You need to find your own voice, how you are going to invest. You can't invest like somebody else, right? You've got to internalize your own process. And what you need to do is you need to find somebody that you can learn from wherever that is. I'm not saying it's one of us. It could be somebody else, but you need to borrow what's in their head until you get to the point where you can come up with your own approach. And it's got to harmonize with what you believe in. Yeah. And there we go. Yeah. And then Ed is saying good night. And we should probably do the same thing.
All right, guys.
All right, everybody.
It's been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This is what we do. It's all good here, but yeah, hopefully you got something out of this. And yeah, hope you guys are doing okay. Like it's gonna be all right. And yeah, nothing else. Happy holidays, happy New Year, and yeah, I'll see you guys in 2019. So. Cheers.
Alrighty. See you guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.